It's the Google Pixel 9a after over a week, I'd say about 10 days of use. I got mine in P&E because if you don't get it in P&E, you're doing it wrong. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this is the first Pixel A series phone in a while that I could recommend you feel comfortable picking up for $500. Usually you wait a couple months, you get it on sale for $400. That's where it's going to live the majority of its life, on sale. But this year's phone is complete enough that I think $500 is absolutely worth what you get. I didn't love when Google increased the price of the A series phone to $500, but unlike the previous years, this is one that I feel comfortable recommending. We're going to talk about this. A lot to like about this. Really hard to poke holes in this particular device. Let's bring the camera around to this side and take a look at it right now. Okay, we're back, and you can get a good look at that peony coloring. I like the iris, I like purple, but let me tell you something. The pink is where you want to go. It's the most saturated color of them all. I love when phone companies aren't afraid of colors on their devices, and I love that Google has gone with such a deep, rich peony on this particular one. You heard a lot of complaints early on when the design was released that people were disappointed in the flat camera bar on the back, not necessarily because it was flat, because I think that's universally, or at least the majority of people like that, and I do too. If you don't need that large camera hump, there is zero reason to have it there. But some people are disappointed that by not having the camera visor, that somehow it's lost that Google appeal or that design language that from 10 feet away, you could know it's a Pixel device. I disagree with that. I think, we knew what Pixels were a long time ago. The Pixel 2 XL never had a visor, but you knew it was a Pixel. The Pixel 3 didn't have a visor, but you knew it was a Pixel. The original Google Pixel XL didn't have a camera visor, but you knew it was a Pixel. We really only had that as the dominant design element for Google since the Pixel 6. So I think Google's design and the Pixel in general is a vibe, right? It's not necessarily one feature. It's not a camera visor. It's not anything else. It's a goofiness. It is a quirkiness. And this absolutely maintains that. Just kind of the off angles. You got kind of the rounded corner and then the pill shape here. I think when you look at it and when you hold it in the hand and you're actually using it, you know that you're using a Pixel. So don't worry about that. If you're worried about the design, you know that you're using a Pixel. Plus, I love that flat. I love the fact that they went with the flat camera hump or no camera hump on the back. If you're not using a larger sensor, if there's not some significant periscope zoom, then there's really no need to put that. Lays flat, just an overall wonderful experience. Design overall, really no complaints about it. It's premium, the buttons are solid, it feels like a really nice phone. Nice and compact with that 6.3-inch display as well. Let's talk about it. 6.3-inch display, gorgeous display. The Actua display, not the Super Actua display, but I don't think you're missing a whole heck of a lot there. It still gets plenty bright. Yes, there are bezels. I know the bezel police are going to start jumping up and down about this phone, but I'm not looking at the bezels. I'm looking at the screen. The screen's really gorgeous on it, really eliminating a previous sore spot of Pixel A series phones is that you had those dull displays, those dim displays, the Pixel 7a, the Pixel 6a, just not really great panels. I really love the Actua display on the Pixel 9a. And now when you think about $500 as we're going along here, just kind of go down the list with me of the things that we mentioned. And even if you're a Pixel hater, it's not hard to get the $500 worth of value on this phone, especially when you look at the marketplace. Prices are going up. We're not getting what we used to get on some of these devices, but now I think that you could it's a complete package. It's hard to point to one thing and say, wow, Google really fumbled that. You can at $1,000. We're going to talk about Tensor in a moment. Gaming performance, you're going to have that G4 gaming performance, which isn't fantastic. But again, it isn't fantastic for $1,200 when you compare it to the other flagship phones. At $500, there's nothing to complain about here. So display, like I said, it's good. I thought I would not like the jump from the 6.1-inch display to the 6.3-inch display because I really like that compact form factor. But it doesn't change the feel in the hand that significantly. The design is nice. It's a lighter phone. It still feels compact. So if you're looking for that small phone feel, but you were worried about the larger display, don't worry about that too much on the Pixel 9a. Performance, like I said, G4, it's a known quantity. Been using it for a while in my Pixel 9 Pro XL and no issues. I know that people worry about overheating. Look, I was using my Galaxy S24 Ultra, upgrading it to One UI 7. It heated up. downloading stuff, whatever. This phone does not have abnormal heating whatsoever. My G4 is running well. I know people were concerned about the modem, the Exynos 5300 modem in here. I had nothing. Listen, I'll tell you as somebody who had problems with previous Pixel modems before. I had nothing but issues with my Pixel 7a modem. It was trash. It could not switch between 5G and 4G LTE. This one, it's the same modem, but whatever they did software-wise, whatever the defects were, whatever the quality control issues were, Google seems to have solved them. Because my connectivity on this has been rock solid. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 5G. No issues. Carried around with me for 10 days, didn't even have a hint of an issue. No weak signal. In fact, I'm getting pretty strong signal every single place that I go. The other thing that you're going to notice, big step up, even from just the Pixel 8a, battery life. 2-day and then some battery life. As long as you're not gaming or editing videos 24 hours a day, you're going to get phenomenal. I end the day with 70% battery on this from a 5100 milliamp hour battery. 70% left. This is the first time that I've had a Pixel phone where I sat there and I did not worry that I had forgotten to charge it overnight. I was testing the overnight drain, which is non-existent on this phone, by the way, but I forgot to plug it in after that. And you're like, you know what? I had 68% battery life left. And I was going out for the night and I was bowling. I said, you know what? This is the first time on a Pixel phone where I know I'm going to be taking photos all night. I know I'm going to be using this phone all night. I'm going to be on it all night. At 68%, I'm not worried. And sure enough, I made it home with like 30-something% left. No issues. Phenomenal. So whatever the secret sauce is between the efficiencies of the G4 plus that larger battery, Google has done an excellent job figuring it out and making it not a concern on this particular device. So all the pieces are working well. Yes, was it frustrating they had that slight delay? But be honest with yourself. We noticed the delay was there because we're enthusiasts and we like all these devices. The person walking into their AT&T store, they're going to buy it when it's there. The person going online to buy it who's buying a $500 smartphone is not sitting there chomping at the bit like, oh, when's it released? When's it gonna? They're not sitting there refreshing F5 over and over again on their browser waiting for the Pixel to be in stock. Okay? So if we're honest with ourselves, for the most part, you walk into your carrier store, whenever they're in stock, you're going to see this and you're going to be happy with it. It's got a poppy color. It's really nice. I want to talk about the camera. I'll put up one shot here. I'm going to do more in the full review, of course, but I want to put up one shot here because it is different from previous Pixel cameras. That kind of over sharpness, now still a sharp and crisp photo, but the drabness to the color is not there by default like I feel it is on my Pixel 9 Pro XL. Google went a little too the other way with the color science. I wouldn't even say it's real. I think at that point it's kind of washed out. So I don't feel that. It's not as warm as the color science on a Galaxy device, but it's kind of an in-between, which is what I wanted. I just wanted to see some of the color back in these photos. So I get that on my Pixel camera on the Pixel 9a. Yes, it's a new sensor, the 48 megapixel, which is used on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But again, these are things that if Google tried to do that, and they might later on in the year, right? With the Pixel 10, we talked about the camera sensors in the Pixel 10. If Google tried to do that on a $1,200, $1,300 phone, you eat their lunch for it. If they do it on a $500 phone, especially with the output being what it is, with Google's computational photography, all that stuff actually adds value. You have to judge the phone against the bar that Google puts on it. And Google's put a $500 bar on this phone, and I think for that, the pictures are good, the camera is good, the overall experience is fantastic. Let's talk software. Android 15, 7 years of support, excellent as always. Material U is okay. It's not One UI, it's not even HyperOS. It runs well. I'll put it that way. It runs well, it gets you where you need to be. I love the Pixel Extras, Now Playing, and all the rest of it that usually comes with a Pixel phone. You miss Now Playing. I mention Now Playing a lot. You want to know why? Because I'm sitting in a car, and something comes on the radio, I'm used to just looking down at my Pixel, oh, okay, yeah, that's what that is. And then going back and seeing the log of what songs that I want to download. So it makes a difference. Pixel software is pleasant, it's unoffensive, but it just is relatively generic for me at this point. I wish that, it runs well. That's more than I could have said about Pixel software in the past, so just leave it as is. It's not a reason why you pick up a Google phone, but it's also not a reason why you wouldn't buy one either. And then there's the price, $500. Prices are going up across the board. This is a phone that, like I said, in previous years, you could point to a thing on the A series phones and say, that's why it's not worth $500. The modem's no good. The screen isn't good. Kind of a goofy, this, that, there were things that you could point to on previous devices. Do I like that it was raised to $500? No. Can I be honest in using this, liking it, not really missing as much as you'd think from those $1,200 and $1,300 smartphones? So this gives me a complete experience that makes me forget I'm using a budget phone, or a mid-range phone, I just say. And I don't really feel like I'm missing out. So that to me is where you get to a $500 price tag. But listen, if you don't want to spend $500, it's fine. Carrier deals, wait a couple months, $400, and that's where it's going to live, just like the Pixel 8a for most of its life. Link in the description does help the channel, by the way. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have the Steelers day.